All right. So I'm recording this for you, Yandy and Kisha, so that you have a reference. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
So the key thing when we talk about stress, remember the drivers for estrogen dominance, which is the root cause of inflammatory conditions like fibroids, like endometriosis, infertility, even diabetes and lupus and heart conditions. These all start from inflammation in the body. Inflammation is the root cause
Now, what is
of so much
inflammation
disease.
exactly?
So what will happen is your body, you consume certain, whether it's the cortisol that pumps through your body or it's estrogenic foods, it causes, see, inflammation can be good and bad. Your body starts to, it's like your body starts to fight off disease, right?
Okay.
So then it starts to pump your body with white blood cells, right? Those white blood cells cause more inflammation. And then that now creates things like tumor, creates things like, plaque in your blood vessels,
Tendinitis.
pain in your, that's inflammation in your joints.
In my joint.
Exactly. And inflammation causes pain, it causes redness, it causes, like I said, tumor and different kind of conditions, all right? So,
Is it just, what is it inflamed with?
no, what will become, what will happen again, remember what I said about the white blood cells? It's like, think about it, like when, let's just take an example of if you bruise or you broke something. First thing happens, it starts to swell, right? Becomes hard, red, pain, it starts to swell. That's inflammation, okay? That happens in all different areas of our body, inside internal organs. It happens, it happens in our cells, blood vessels, okay? Like different areas of the body, and that's what leads to different conditions. And what we want to do is embrace a lifestyle that is anti-inflammatory, right? And what that means is that it keeps things at what we call is homeostasis, peace. Remember I talked about peace?
That's like a balance, right?
Yeah, balance. It keeps things in this area of just balance, where my body is, everything is flowing properly. It's not fighting, right? It's not fighting itself, right? There's no dis-ease, break in the peace, whether it's your respiratory system, cardiovascular system, digestive system.
Oh my gosh,
okay?
dis-ease.
Dis-ease, exactly. Dis-ease, that's the breakdown.
Pun intended.
Exactly, you got it. So our goal is, again, when we look at stress, because it's such a big piece, I say to people, listen, the most important thing you can do is literally have a zero tolerance for toxicity. Zero tolerance for toxicity is toxic people, toxic thoughts, toxic habits, and toxic foods.
Zero tolerance.
Yeah, zero tolerance. That means, you know what? My peace, if it's gonna cost me my peace, it ain't worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it. If it's gonna cost me my peace, there's no place for it, right? And that's a big piece. Hold on, microwaves.
The worst thing?
Yes, ma'am. It is like putting a gun to your head. The microwave is the worst because of the radiation. The worst. So just so you know, please do not use the microwave. The microwave is a bread box in my house now. We haven't used the microwave in more than 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, it's literally, it changes the molecular structure of your food. It is pumping it with radiation. See that look on her face?
Put it in the oven?
Yes, the oven is your friend. I'm telling you, it is your friend. And it's not, it's gonna take you just like this to get used to it. But when I remember when Dr. Rumlins, I said, listen, I said, well, how bad is microwave? He said, just think about it as putting a gun to your head. And I said, all right, you know what? I don't need it then. I said, like, I'm not gonna, life is hard enough. I don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? And the truth is, when you think about what they're doing, right? It's speeding up a process with something that is abnormal, right? So think about what it has to do in order to do that. It's using radiation. They're like, oh, it's not enough radiation to harm you. It's radiation. It's like saying it's not giving you enough poison to poison you, but little over time.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So There's a reason our forefathers lived longer than we do. We have so many sources of toxicity. And I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want you to think of what are the things that I can metabolize. For me, it was easy to say, I never need to use a microwave. That was easy. It's not worth it. I put something in the toaster oven or the oven in a minute, put it on the stove top in a minute. I'm worth that. My health is worth that. Eliminating the carcinogens is worth that. Carcinogens, radiation and carcinogens are together. Yeah. Okay. So do I want to increase the carcinogens in my body or decrease them?
Decrease. Sure.
Right? Yeah. I want to decrease them. So it's a no-brainer for me, right? So going back to the peace, does it promote peace or not? So throughout the day, when you have a hectic schedule, Yandy, like you were saying, how do you do it? One of the key practices that I do, and it's very intentional, is a simple exercise which is called stop, breathe, and exhale. So I put my alarm, it goes off every 2 hours. I have something that just says stop and breathe. Okay? And guess what happens when I stop and breathe? I just stop and I say, God, I receive your grace right now. And you know what happens when I do that?
What?
I usually will open my, because I stop and I get silent for 30 seconds to a minute. Just get silent. Quiet your thinking. Just sit there and focus on God. I will usually, the next minute, I'll like, you know what? Oh, that's a waste of time. I don't need to do that no more. Or I have an idea that changes everything. Because you have the God of the universe waiting to direct your steps. Most times, yes, most times he's like, oh, I'm right here to give you the brilliant idea, but you just running around trying to make it happen on your own. Right? Most times we running around like a hamster on a wheel, and God's waiting for us to get tired enough to stop and listen. So what we're saying is, you know what? I'm going to build my life so that I create a system in it to stop and listen along the way. I'm not going to wait for a crash to put me in a crisis where all I can do is listen. Right. I'm going to create a system in my lifestyle where, you know what? 30 seconds, I can do that. Sometimes it's just a 10-second breath. Sometimes it's 30 seconds. Sometimes it's a minute. Sometimes it's 2 minutes. But I stop and I check in, because sometimes, what am I upset about? Because you're upset and you're not even thinking about why you're upset, because you're just trying to plow through, right? But if you think through and say, God, I just thank you for your grace right now to see this properly, to deal with this properly. Life changed. Like when I tell you life changing, that's simple practice. Simple. And the wisdom we get by opening ourselves up to God's grace, the wisdom we get, right? Because now God is always talking, but are we listening? Right. He's always here to give you the answers. And if you had the omniscient one telling you answers all the time, would you listen? Well, we know it, but we don't listen, right? Because we are living in this lifestyle thinking that it's not going to happen if we don't make it happen. And God's like, the way to more is do less. It's completely against what this world is telling us. The way to more is to slow down so that you're not doing everything, but you're doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. Yeah. Wow. Right? Yeah, makes sense. It's not doing more. It's focusing on, the 80-20 Pareto principle is 80% of the impact comes from focusing on the specific 20. It's not on the 80% of things. It's that critical 20. But how do you know what's the critical 20? Right? And that's where it's like, okay, God, like every morning, like, okay, God, what are the most important things for me to focus on today? And I'll just keep that. Sometimes it's just, what's the one thing? What's the two things? Because there are going to be a lot of things.
So you portion out your day when you say, okay, I'm going to focus on this one thing today. So like for me, if it's skincare, I'm going to focus on skincare today. I do that a lot.
No, it's not. It means that, no, I say, okay, you know what? If nothing else is accomplished, what are the 1 or 2 things that I know are the big rocks for today? And I make that a priority. And then when I make that a priority, everything else kind of falls in place.
Got it.
See what I'm saying? It's not
Are
that
you
I
eating?
won't do.
That's
Yeah,
right. Oh, okay.
yeah. What? Come on. Sure. I don't have to eat a lot, but I'll just taste. But
I'm just figuring this thing out. I don't know what all
listen,
these
yes,
things are
you're
gonna
doing
taste like.
great. You're doing
For
great.
breakfast, we just figured it out and it was good.
That's it,
I'm
girl.
gonna squeeze some lemon juice as. What do you normally use as dressing?
So there's some dressing recipes in the food
Thank you
list.
for
There's a
that.
dressing recipe. Here.
Please,
There's a
we can share
dressing
this
recipe.
is us.
I don't eat all this. It's a lot of avocado. It's great. I love avocado. Let me just say one. There we go. Boom. The key is I like to use herbs like rosemary and basil and thyme and and grapeseed oil and some red onion, some lemon juice, avocado. Like there's some good dressings. I'll send you the recipes. Okay. But I know there's a red onion, honey lemon dressing that's delicious. And that one is right in the it's in the document called the Detox Living Food List.
Yes.
And so another thing, styrofoam and plastic is not your friend. Okay. Just so you know, paper is better just because it's more biodegradable.
Okay. And I never have styrofoam in the house before we had a party.
It's what was picked up. I get you. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Things that like.
You want some grapeseed oil?
Sure, yeah. Just to make it, just so you know, like there are things that are okay. You know what? That's why you see I'll care this right here because it did just it's a thicker plastic, but I only did it because my food is not touching it because my food is inside the big shell of the cantaloupe. See what I'm saying? Here I have the hemp seeds and stuff is in the glass because glass is the best thing because one of the top carcinogens are, because when I said, remember, it's stress, diet, and pollutants. Pollutants come from everything from the air that you breathe, which you can't control. But it's not about changing what you can't control. It's about changing what you can. It's easy for me to say, okay, I don't have to eat from plastic. I can do that. I can do, okay, you know what? I'm not going to use certain things just because I know that they're carcinogens, right? Like plastics, heating up foods and plastics and cooking things in plastic and keeping them in plastic. Thank you, babe. Is a way. I don't need all this because I don't want to waste all your lemon. Is just understanding where the toxins are coming in and what things are easy for you to things to change. See what I'm saying? So again, stress, diet, foods. Your foods. The nutrition plan is all about teaching you how to use your food as your medicine because your food is either healing or hurting you. What we say is, I want my food to be my medicine, not my entertainment. We have a culture around entertainment and food, okay? And when I say to people, you know what? If I said to you, I'm coming over your house, so you have my diabetes medicine, am I going to expect you to have my diabetes medicine for me?
Absolutely not. Right?
You got that almatapine for my blood pressure?
No.
Am I waiting on you to have that? Right? No. And this is to prevent, my food is to prevent. So I always have food with me. Why? Because that's my medicine. I'm not waiting on you to have it, or I know I can get it because my food is the very first thing. And I say, look, relationships are relationships. I can go wherever you are and I can have fun with you because the food is not what connects us. What connects us is our relationship. Right? People say, oh, you can't go out. I know how to strategize to go out. But guess what? I didn't come for the food. I came for you.
Right.
Because I know what my food is. My food is to make me healthy. My food is to make me strong. Right? And when I make that distinction, that's a big shift mentally.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because I love to enjoy my food. Okay. And I love when it's delicious. Right? But the most important, the non-negotiable is it has to heal me. It has to. Because if it's hurting me, it's going against, I'm sabotaging myself. And that can't be. That's the one thing in 2019, I'm not sabotaging myself. You may fight me, I'm not fighting me. Right? I'm going to be on my side. because God is on my side, and I'm gonna be with God. I ain't gonna be with the others. Haters, you will have with you always, but I'm not gonna be one of my own haters.
This is amazing, by the way.
It is, right?
You don't see me just eating away. Don't like,
It's like the perfect mix of sweet
and
savory.
exactly. And you see the black mulberries, high as that
love those.
Yes. So the key thing is when you say, all right, you know what? Food is I've redefined what food means to me. I've redefined what food is. It's my medicine. So the key thing is now, I mean, we have a sister who just sent me, she made bread and I mean, people get creative. People love cook. I'm not one of those people.
Bread.
She made bread with, she made quinoa or buckwheat bread. You can absolutely make great breads, but they're flat breads versus the yeast breads because those yeasts are gluten. And so I'm going to go into the digestive piece in a second.
Wow.
But the key thing is that you got to start where you are. Like, you like to cook, you like to do, right? Me, I like to eat.
I do too.
It's simple. Like the rest, that's why the meal plan is like follow, rest, okay, boom, I'm done. Like for me, I find the things that I like, the things that are easy,
that's me.
and go to, and I'm good. I don't, if I experiment,
I'm experimenting.
and that's good. So for you, what's going to be critical is knowing that list.
Yes.
What are my key good things?
Yes.
Okay. What are the good things? And I mix up and make all kinds of things that way, right? Like, oh, if I take this and I take this, oh, and I take this, and these are all good for me, right? And it's going to be, okay, so I know I don't fry, I bake, I simmer, you know, I steam, I don't this. Like that, using those guidelines. So reading that detox living food list is important for you, because then you'll know, okay, you know, grape tomatoes are great. Only thing with tomatoes, you don't cook tomatoes. Roma tomatoes are great. You don't cook tomatoes because what happens when you cook tomatoes is they become nitrogenic. You ever notice like you have a lot of gas after you have like either
spaghetti
pizza or spaghetti? That's because gas is an inflammatory response. Bloating is an inflammatory response. Constipation is an inflammatory response. These are all things that are attacking your gut. And your gut, going to the critical thing here, your gut is literally the heart of your health. Okay, so the reason fasting is important is because what it allows, the purpose of fasting is to allow your digestive system time to rest, to not work hard, to rest, so that it can allow your body to focus on healing itself. Because then your body says, oh, let's get this out of here. No, this isn't serving us, because your liver starts to heal. Your liver is the master organ. And your liver is responsible for saying, oh, look, you know, get these toxins out of here. It detoxifies the body. But what's happened when we develop tumors and endometriosis is because your liver's been overrun with toxins. We're eating things our bodies are not meant to digest. So what happens? It gets stuck. It gets converted into fat, white adipose, whether it's fat you see or fat you don't see. Because I had fat you didn't see, but I was full of white adipose tissue. Because it was all that, it was the stuff that your body can't break down. And then, you know, there are women that's like, oh, I just can't get rid of weight around my stomach. Why? Because your body's settling it there. Can't get rid of it. You feel like you just can't lose weight. No, it's just that your body has that fat it's called white adipose tissue. It's inflammation. And it's harboring toxins, and it's creating imbalances in your hormones, and it's creating, you know, conditions in your body. So that's why when we allow our digestive system to rest, we're now allowing our digestive system to reset. That's the purpose of the detox, is to allow your body to reset, to reboot.
Is this stage detoxing even though we're still eating and food and our
Yes,
body is still
because you're eating foods that actually help your digestive system. That's why the fruit is important, right? So when you eat fruit, what happens is, that's why, like, the difference between fruits and vegetables, and fruit is anything that's seeded. Like, that's why grape tomatoes are fruit, avocados are fruit, zucchini is fruit, squash is fruit, right? The reason that's important is because when you eat fruit, the enzymes in your mouth start to break the food down right in your mouth, okay? Yeah. And what happens is that now preps it before it even gets into your digestive system. So your digestive system gets to rest. I'm gonna give you an example. So when I had my second fibroid surgery, I developed a obstruction from the scarring. What happened is my body actually developed, and my intestine knotted up. Okay. And so that means I couldn't eat, I couldn't hold anything down. All right. Because of scarring from the surgery, right? From the fire, literally knotted my intestine up.
Well,
Okay?
mine's is almost like that, but I have a
With
lot
a-
of scarring now from the
So did it wrap any of your organs?
My bowels is connected to another organ, but it's so severe, the adhesions, that it's like that's the next step, whether to have surgery.
Does it affect your digestion now?
It affects my what I'm constipated
Okay.
all the time.
Okay. So did we get you the sweeper?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's important.
I'm sorry.
All right, so
cut you up, but
No, but
what's
that's
happening.
important. So the reason that's important is, so first we're going to see if the lifestyle changes is, aggressive, the way we're going to be doing aggressive with you, because you were asking about the fruit. What the fruit does is it helps to actually stimulate your digestive system, okay? Because what it's saying is, you know what? These are foods that, because like I said, with fruits, your body, your digestive system is allowed to rest. I was telling you about my surgery. When I developed that obstruction, they said either, look, we're going to put you on this thing called the NG tube, and the NG tube goes up your nose, down into your throat. Okay. They said, so that we don't have to cut you, because I had been cut 10 days earlier. This happened 10 days after a major surgery. They cut me from here to here. Okay. So you can imagine, I don't want to be cut again, major surgery 10 days later, right? So they put me on the NG tube, and the purpose of the NG tube is to literally stop you from digesting, meaning no spit, nothing. It takes everything, it pumps it out of your body. So you're not even having to digest the liquids, the fluids that your body makes, because you make saliva, you make bile, you make all these.
So you just get fed through the IV?
No food, zero. Well, no, yeah, that's right. No food.
How do you
zero.
live?
So they can give you IV here. They give you, I'm trying to think, was I on IV? No, because remember, they're pumping your body out. It's NPO is nothing by mouth.
Nothing by mouth.
Until because your digestive system is not working. So think about that. If your digestive system is not working, anything you put in is going to cause you to upchuck, right? It's going to cause more damage to your body.
Wow.
So what they say is, let's let your body rest to see if it will heal itself. Now that is very critical, because we know your body can heal itself. So what it's saying is, when we let your digestive system rest, we're allowing your body to reset to see if it will actually recover and actually heal what's functioning, what's happening in it. That's why, remember, I don't know if I told you guys, but one of the women, I had told you with your mom, one of the women who started the program, she started it because she literally was on death's door. And I didn't send you her test. Did I send you her testimony? I didn't send it to you yet. Her name is Jennifer. She's actually one of our coaches too. She was, when she started the program, she was bleeding through adult diapers every hour.
Oh my goodness.
You understand what I'm saying? Not pads, adult diapers every hour. She had to change. She was in so much pain that she was violently vomiting for 3 days, where they had to put her on IV because of dehydration. That's how bad. She was always, her lips would turn blue. She was always so anemic. She was like, literally, I felt like I was just waiting to die.
Oh.
So long story short, God connected. She got on the program, and her family, her mom and her sister decided, you know what, we'll do this detox with you, because we wanted to be as aggressive as possible with her so she could get some relief, because this girl is really suffering. And her mom did it with her, her sister did it with her. Within the 14 days, that 14-day detox, she did all water detox. You're doing fruit. Her mother, all water. It was just coconut water. That's structured water. It was listen, she was suffering. This girl, she was at death's door. So she wanted to be as aggressive as possible, right? Her mother, was on high cholesterol meds for years, and her mother had a hernia. Both of those things completely disappeared in 14 days.
Wow.
Okay. Why? Because once you let your body do what it's supposed to do, it is amazing, like what your body can do.
Let me ask you a question. When I was pregnant and the baby Skylar started to take blood away from the fibroids and it started to degenerate, it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
Very painful.
Does the same thing happen as the food gets rid of the fibroids?
So it can. It depends on location. Sometimes inside, it can literally feel like, some people when the fibroids break down, it feels like nothing. Some people when it breaks, it feels like they're having a baby.
Pulling.
Okay.
Sharp pains.
Yes.
It's the worst thing I ever felt. I couldn't even stand up.
It is. It can be. It can. Like I said, everybody's not the same.
But I'll take it. When they told me what was happening, I was like,
it's okay. Right.
It's okay.
And this thing, like for instance, Jennifer, the same woman, she was saying how she had cycles where her cycles were 17 to 21 days.
Wow.
And then they came on every 12 days. So she had no
time
to recover, right? Now her cycle is like 9 days.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? Like her body had a she had massive fibroids, but look at the progress. No more vomiting, no more IV, no more any of that stuff. But she literally went through where she would have a breakthrough cycle where you could tell her body was breaking the fibroid down. But that usually happens when the fibroids are larger. Because if it's not larger, it'll usually just break down in, like, you'll feel like you had a heavier cycle.
Do they come?
You'll see fibrous tissue. You'll see fibrous tissue sometimes. Usually when it's a larger fibroid. Other times it'll just look like you're just bleeding. You're just having like a heavier cycle, right? But usually those clots, they'll look like they're more tissuey. You know, they're what we call them fibroid tissue, fibroid clots, right? Tissue clots versus just like blood that dissolves in water. And like I said, sometimes it could be painful, but sometimes it's just like you just feel like you had a heavy cycle. And it may come during your cycle or in between. Like you may feel like, well, I just had another cycle. Like, oh, okay, because your body's breaking down. It feel like my cycle came early. It came because your body's trying to break down that estrogen dominance to, like, it's your hormones are fluctuating to eliminate the estrogen to starve the fibroids.
Wow. So when you start to change your estrogen production, what do you like emotionally?
So what you're going to find is as the estrogen goes down and the progesterone goes up, because that's the true female hormones, you're going to feel like you're going to feel like, oh, I'm not angry anymore. Like, my attitude feels so much better. Oh, I feel so much happier. Oh, I feel like, oh, okay. You know, because so many women are suffering. Yes. Because the estrogen is a catabolic steroid. It breaks you down. You know what I'm saying? It depresses you. There's so many women who are dealing with suicidal thoughts because their estrogen levels are through the roof.
I've been there too.
Yeah, it's true. It's like you feel like you're in a war for your mind. You feel like you're in a war for your mind.
Overwhelming.
Yes, absolutely. So you start to feel homeostasis, balance. You start to feel that balance, that joy, that peace. Like, oh, this is what life is supposed to be like.
That's good. You want more?
You know what I mean?
I'm good. I'm gonna get something.
This is what life is supposed to feel like. So that's a key thing with the food is, you know, knowing like the kind of person. For me, it's like finding the things that are easy, the go-tos, and I'm good. Like I always make a pot of quinoa because I use quinoa in my fruit. I use it with my my salad. I use quinoa with my I'll make it with some nice like I'll steam some what do you call it, some zucchini and some sweet peppers. That's a nice fruit meal. Squash, sweet peppers, some zucchini and quinoa. It's a fruit meal. That's still fruit, but it gives you a savory
and you
flavor.
steam it all together? Well, not
well, no. I would no. What I cook the quinoa and then you just mix it all together. The vegetables and then maybe put it together with some red onions or whatever. You know what I mean? So that way you can still have savory as well as sweet. Because some people feel like sweet. Oh, I can't have fruit all the time. Fruit is not just sweet. Right. It's about redefining, understanding what fruit really is. So again, with your digestive system is understanding. Your digestive system is critical. And when we don't go regularly, that is a red flag. Things are wrong. Things are wrong. And when your body is going regularly, you should be going like, it should look like a nice, smooth banana, like a banana. You know what I mean? Like just soft, not hard. It can be long. Some people go once, 12 to 15 inches. It's like you're emptying your colon. Some people go multiple times throughout the day, but you're going enough where you're emptying out your colon. It's just, you know, what your rhythm is. Problem
for me. Mine is normally, for the most of my life, even as a child, my father would tell you, sometimes it'll be once a week.
See?
Or like now it's probably like twice, 3 times a week.
So
but
you're
it's
going to get to a
rock
point.
hard.
No, you're gonna. That is
And
your
it
body
stops up the
telling
toilet every
you.
time.
That's your body telling. That's.
Hasn't been since I was
Do
a
you have?
child.
Do you have the sweeper too?
Yes.
Okay.
I have
So
5
absolutely.
different supplements.
Okay, so let's talk about the service. So the next thing is we talked about nutrition. The next thing is the herbal supplements.
Mhm.
The key thing with herbal supplements, you have them?
I do. I'll go
Okay.
get them.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. So when you eat the meals, does the amount matter?
No, you can eat as much as you want.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to keep your energy up. It's great. There's nothing wrong with what you're eating.
I'm feeling like going to make some more.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 So let's see.
And does it matter what time your last meal is?
So ideally you want to eat, you can always have like fruit as a snack throughout the night. You know what I mean? Like, say, oh, I just want to have some more mango, or I want to have some more cantaloupe. Water-based is ideal at night because, when we go to the circadian rhythms, let me touch on that real quick. The circadian rhythms, your body operates in 3 circadian rhythms, right? So from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., your body is trying to eliminate. That's why usually in a healthy world, you go to the bathroom first thing in the morning. In a healthy world, because your body is trying to eliminate. Okay. Now, during that time, you only want to have things that help facilitate that. That's why when people tell you have a healthy, strong breakfast, that's the worst thing they could be telling you. Have bread and all these heavy things. You are literally disrupting your body's process. Okay. And that's why literally things go downhill from there. You start to feel like, oh, I need coffee now because my body's slowing down because it's fighting to digest what I just put in it. So what happens is you get sleepy now because your body it's like sludge, trying to move it along in your digestive system because it's not made to actually process that. It doesn't know what to do with that, right? But when you eat things that are actually like cantaloupe is great. So in the morning, I'll have my coconut water. I'll have my supplements first thing. I'll maybe have a shot of lemon, have some water, coconut water, and my body just completes the elimination process. And then around noon, I'll usually have some cantaloupe, some mango, some fruit. And then at that point, your body's going from 12 to 8. Your body's going through what's called the appropriation cycle.
12 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah, so what's happening generally at that time is your body's taking in. It's just absorbing food. It's taking in, that's where you eat most of your meals.
So you should stop eating by 8.
Right, ideally, because from 8 to 4 a.m., now your body's going to assimilation. Now, what also happens from 8 to 4 a.m., you should also be sleeping, right? So your body's going from the assimilation cycle, what your body's doing from 8 to 8 to 4 a.m. is it's taking in nutrients. It's using what you took in. And now it's saying, okay, this is when you sleep, and this is why sleep is so important. Your body, what it does is sleep is, it heals. Healing, sleeping and healing.
But those are your pictures. You just have to have Dropbox.
Go together. Right? It's just like, why babies, when they come home, they sleep all the time? Because they're growing, right? And growing it's just building new tissue. That's what our body is doing when it's healing. It's growing new tissue. It's replacing dead tissue, okay? And what it's doing, that's why sleep is so important, because when we sleep, our cell walls open up for what we call, during the melatonin cycle, which is when we sleep, our cell walls open up to receive the nutrients. Because otherwise, we're in serotonin cycle. And when serotonin cycle, your cell walls are up in defense mode, protective, like not letting anything in, okay? But when you go into the melatonin cycle, your cell walls open up. And that's why you have noticed you eat well and you go to sleep well, you feel better when you wake up in the morning. But if you ate bad, right, and you slept bad, you feel worse in the morning, right? You didn't even matter. You had no good night's sleep.
It's true.
Right. So what we want to do is actually, that's why daily practices include cooperating with the rhythms our body were designed to operate in, right? Saying, okay, you know what? If I'm going to eat something after 8 o'clock, it's going to be something light and water-based, right? Maybe I'll have avocado. Maybe I'll have some, like some avocados, some grape tomatoes, and some, and some mango. Ooh, that is so good. Those three things together.
Tell me,
Avocado, grape tomatoes, and what you do is just like this, really. But it's savory without the cantaloupe, and you add in just the lemon juice, the salt, and the pepper. Like it's just delicious. It's sort of like what you're doing here, but with it's light. Your body still, again, it's water based. Your body it breaks it down different, and because the fruit has the fiber, it actually already starts to remember the what it takes in is actually, it's not the sugar. That's why it's good. People say, well, they like to do a lot of juicing. We don't recommend juicing. If you juice vegetables, but blend your fruit, do smoothies, or eat fresh fruit. You can do smoothies, but you get so much from the fresh fruit that if you can, eat the fresh fruit, And what we find is when we cooperate with that, we get to that homeostasis, that peace, and you get so much more done with less effort. You get so much more done with less anxiety, with peace. Like I've learned, like, oh, it's okay. Like, remember I told you I was recovered. I was like, okay, well, God, whatever's supposed to be, I'm not gonna worry about it, right? Because when it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. I stopped trying to be God. I stopped trying to feel like I'm trying to control everything. It's a false reality that you think you're in control. You're not in control. So let's own up to that, right? Let's relax, relate, release, surrender, and cooperate. Flow, flow, right? Just flow. And when we do that, we get so much more. Remember that quote I told you, God's grace will take you where hustle can't? Just that, I keep that in my mind. Like, are you trying to hustle, Jessie, right now? Or are you operating God's grace? I ask myself that question. Am I trying to make this happen? Or no, just let God do it in the way he wants to do it. Because sometimes he gives us a vision, because you're a visionary, right? He shows you things and you see it, and then you go to start to be like, okay, let's go make it happen. And he's like, wait a minute. Did I tell you it's supposed to happen right now? And you trying to push against the wall.
There you go.
Push against the wall. It's like, just not saying you sit there, kick up your heels, do nothing, but you flow. You do with the things that actually are what's important for now, right? What's important for now? And that's why something every day, I'm like, okay, what's important for today? What is the win for today? And the win every day is what actually is going to serve my goal to heal my life. And that includes taking time with my kids. That includes showering them with love. That includes having time where I literally shut everything else out to just be. And that's hard, because that's a muscle. That's actually something we have to develop, is stillness. Stillness.
That is something I have not been able to figure out.
And it's huge, but that also affects your digestive system. It affects your digestive system.
What I do sometimes is but it's only when I feel overwhelmed. It'll be like, I gotta shut down. Like my mind is racing, my stomach feels off, my head is hurting.
Yep, you're in a crisis.
I'll cut the light out. I'll say, and it's almost like I have to. Kids, I'm locking my door.
Right.
You have to stay in your bed, or you go play with Infinity, or go. Yeah. Okay, in a second. I made you dinner, so after you eat dinner.
Okay, yeah.
Go back in the living room for 1 second. Okay, that's so. And it's, and then I go to
This
sleep.
is delicious.
Feeling,
oh God, so good.
Like it's like a nervous feeling, and then I wake up feeling like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to shut down. I have to say, I don't want to scream at you. I don't want to be mean to you. You have to leave me alone.
Right. It's like you're
and
at the
that
point
happens
of burnout.
like once a month where I'm just like, you gotta leave me alone right now. I can't hear you. I can't talk to you. And I'll cut my phone off, and I just want to be in the darkness, and I can't do anything.
So what I'm saying to you is, see, that's a crisis. That's a place of
definitely
burnout.
Crisis mode.
It's a place of burnout. And what we want to do is live from a place of prevention. We want to live from a place of continuous health and healing. So when you do that, that's why I said creating a lifestyle where, like, every 2 hours, I'm giving myself time to just check in with myself. You know what? I'm just going to receive God's grace right now. So it's just go to the bathroom. Wherever you are, there's going to be a bathroom. Take a second, take a minute in
Do you
the
talk to
therapy.
yourself?
I
What do
literally
you
pray.
do? Oh,
I
you
pray. God, I just thank you right now. I receive your grace, and I just sit and I quiet my mind and I listen. I listen. I tune inward. And when I tune inward, you hear the small whispers of golden answers.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just let it go.
Or sometimes you just like, sometimes what I do, I'll sit in the stall and I'll just breathe.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I don't pray, I just breathe.
Yes.
I just sit and I just breathe.
Oh, when I say
I
pray,
just quiet time when I'm at
I'm
work.
not sitting there talking to God. I receive your grace right now.
Just breathe.
And I just literally be quiet and tune in. When I say silence, because sometimes I just need quiet to just shut everything else out.
Like, listen.
And then the next thing you know is God may speak to you, or literally you'll have an epiphany, because God speaks to us in epiphanies all the time. You have an aha, or you just have a resolution, or whatever you come out of it with answers, or you just come out of it with perspective. Okay, and perspective may be is, man, you know, that really, what really I'm upset about, I need to address, or I know now I need to let that go, or I need to release that, whatever it is. But like I said, I have clients, they're like, look, the bathroom is my best friend because ain't nobody going to me to stall with me, because they won't go there, you know. And the thing is, I just need to say, you know what, like, I need that time. Me time is important, because it's called replenishing, right? I'm refreshing, I'm restoring my soul, restoring my soul, because I don't want to get to the point where I'm 1 second away from explosion. I've done everything, and guess what? Usually you haven't achieved everything you could in that time, because if you had done it in a way where you literally were flowing, right? Flowing with the peace of God and the grace of God, you get so much more. Literally, you were just like, you know what? It's okay. It's all right. I got better answers now. You know what I mean? And I realized all of this, like, this could be done tomorrow. No. This doesn't need to be done today. It's perspective. That's the biggest thing that shifts, is perspective. And when we have that shift in perspective, everything else, because it changes our course, right? And for us, we're saying, there are things I have like, you know what? I've been like, you know what? I've had to say, I understand now. This is your issue. That's not my issue. And I realized, like, that's not my problem. This thing that I'm going, this is that person's problem. Why am I holding on to it? I've been trying to fix. That's not my job. That's one of the big ones. Why am I trying to fix somebody else? That's not my job. And I let it go. I pray for that person, let them go. Whatever I'm supposed to do, that's good. It's called letting go of the shackles. Liberation. And liberation, it starts with our hearts and minds, but we have to make time for it. You know, we're waiting till a crisis happens to say, oh, I need answers. But we need answers every day. The problem is we try to act like we got all the answers. You know, and we come to God and we on our knees in some sort of a crisis. He's like, look, I am here all day long. I got you. The vision you have, I gave it to you. The destiny that is calling you, I put that picture in front of you, right? That's the plan I have on your life. So trust me, right? Trust, and to say it's okay. And that is a big thing, because when we slow down, it changes, like, our bodies. Like, it's like you start to tune in. What's going on in my body right now? My body is telling me I'm angry about something. I'm hurt about something. Maybe I need to journal. Maybe I need to talk to somebody. Maybe I need to confront that in my thing. I need to own up to it and say, man, that really hurt me. What do I want to do? What do I want to do about that? Does the relationship matter enough for me to say something? Or do I need to, you know, when Maya says, when people show you who they are, believe them, and say, okay, I had a situation with my daughter's, one of my daughter's classmates' parents. I said, she and I aren't friends. I would expect that she would have done better than that, but she showed me who she is. So what am I going to do? Take note. Take note, and I keep it moving, because it's not worth it for me. You know what I mean? And that is literally those kind of shifts are earthquakes. They're literally earthquakes in terms of moving us in places that our bodies, our minds, our spirits are all in tune, in alignment. See what I'm saying?